I am thrilled at this moment to introduce our guest speaker this evening, Gavriel or Gavy Friedson. We are thrilled that through Hadassah and our federation and maybe some other groups that I don't remember, but we are thrilled to have such a strong connection with Israel in our community. And so when the opportunity to host Gavy came up, I was so excited to be able to learn from him. According to the materials I was provided, Gavy has been saving lives since he was 15 years old. Over the course of 19 years on the job, he has distinguished himself by responding to more than 10,000 emergencies, ranging from acute medical crises to multiple casualties and catastrophes. During his years as a first responder, he has often been the first medic on scene at several terrorist attacks. He spent most of his life volunteering with Israel's rescue agencies and returned to the United States in 2017 to help expand United Hatzalah's rescue operations for international cooperation. He has been to several disasters, especially in our region, to provide humanitarian aid, including Hurricanes Harvey and Irma. He was a team leader during Hurricane Fiona in Puerto Rico and when Hurricane Ian decimated Fort Myers in 2022. And he has also assisted in medical rescue flights, helping to evacuate Ukrainian refugees to Israel. As a soldier in the Israeli Defense Forces, he served in the elite Nahal Infantry Brigade and later in the International Spokespersons Unit. He holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Communication from Reichman University and a Master's in Public Health, specializing in emergency and disaster management from Tel Aviv University. Gavy, thank you for being here and for teaching us this evening. Thanks, we're thrilled to have you here.
Shabbat shalom. Wow, what an honor to be with you this evening, this Shabbat, to bring in Shabbat together. Especially this evening, I don't know, just a few hours ago, there was another rocket launched from Yemen. So I was talking to my friends in Israel and right before on the way here, and it's been a little chaotic, so it's nice to kind of have a peaceful and be with our friends and family here. And new friends, thank you so much for picking us up and taking us here. I'm just one of those 8,000 volunteers that volunteer with United Hatzalah. Those of you who are not familiar with United Hatzalah, Hatzalah is the Hebrew word for rescue. And sometimes people confuse us for Hezbollah, but it's not that. We wear the orange vests, not the green. But United Hatzalah is an incredible organization that started many years ago with the idea of just being a first responder on the back of an ambulance, understanding that it's not ambulances that save people, it's people that save people. Ambulances oftentimes get stuck in traffic. You look at New York City, I'm sure even parts of Jacksonville, you look at Jerusalem, you look at Tel Aviv, you respond to an emergency, and it could take you a good 25 minutes if the ambulance is even available. Often they get stuck in traffic or they're off on another call. So when a person's having chest pains, cardiac arrest, needs someone to stop the bleed, apply oxygen, start CPR, it just takes too long until that ambulance arrives. And we figured out a way, just like Uber finds the 5 closest drivers, we find the 5 closest medics, EMTs, paramedics, doctors, nurses, from all walks of life. Doesn't matter if you want to come volunteer with us, we qualify you, train you, you can become an EMT, a paramedic, a nurse, doctor. We even have a psychotrauma therapy unit, which is specifically for preventing and helping, whether it's our first responders or bystanders with PTSD. And we are leading in Israel in terms of our response time of just 3 minutes or less. Most cases, 90 seconds. It's incredible. We find the 5 closest volunteers. They respond. This is what I drive in Israel. It's something called an ambucycle. It's a fully equipped motorcycle with all the necessary equipment, life-saving equipment that you would have on an ambulance, but on a motorcycle. So if you're able to, get there really quickly to deliver pizza, you could do the same on a motorcycle ambulance. And that's really the concept of understanding, of taking the map of Israel, which is the size of New Jersey, from Metula all the way up north, down south to Eilat, taking the entire map and really being strategic about where our volunteers are and how they can respond and how they can get there within those minutes that matter most. And that's what we're capable of doing every single day, making sure that we have enough volunteers fully equipped. Obviously, on October 7th, our organization become much more well known. Not how we wanted to be well known to the world. We loved what we do every day in responding to everyday emergencies, but our success and our effectiveness of saving so many people on October 7th was because of how well prepared we were on October 6th. And our organization really understands how important it is to train and give them the life-saving tools that they need. And on October 7th, I'm not going to go too far into it because I don't have much time, but we managed that morning and that day to really not only deplete all of our life-saving equipment that we had in our emergency backup rooms. I mean, all of it. You probably saw pictures in the media of soldiers in green IDF uniforms wearing orange vests and helmets and armor vests and tools and orange medical bags. We just gave out everything that we could because there were so many calls. Our dispatch received over about 12,000 calls, which is typically you get around 2,000, 2,500 a day. We're getting 12,000 on October 7th, and every other call was somebody shot. And we had to make sure that we were able to get all that equipment out and get our helicopters up in the air, and all of our medics were able to really just kind of spring into action. Didn't matter what the day was, right? It was Simchat Torah, it was a holiday. Most people were even either just waking up at 6:30 in the morning or going to synagogue or, not understanding kind of the shock of what was happening. And obviously since then, a lot of our volunteers were called up in the military and reserves. We had to recruit new volunteers. A lot of our female medics really stepped up and were able to respond and have been, ever since. And obviously I was just saying as I started to speak just about 2 hours ago, rockets, and we saw this week, are still being launched towards Israel. The war is very much, we're about 17 months in, and it's still ongoing, so there's still a lot for us to do, and as we prepare, obviously, for the future. But, there was something very meaningful this past week is when Eli Beer, the founder of our organization, met with Yarden B-Bus. And obviously, you all know the story of the B-Bus family. And he was sharing a picture of one of our paramedics that was killed on October 7th, trained the B-Bus family in Nachal Oz and that whole entire area in the south. One of our programs we're really proud of is teaching families CPR, and they just had a baby, and one of our paramedics taught the B-Bus family, along with the entire community, life-saving techniques of CPR, first aid, infant CPR, choking, and in that picture was one of our medics who was killed on October 7th. And since then, we actually are proud to announce that we started the B-Bus Brigade, and Yarden B-Bus, is very, very excited to hear that it's going to be in his honor of his family. And we're going to recruit 300 new medics for the South. And really, that's like one of our biggest focuses right now is really to train a medic. Each medic's $10,000. But then they're trained and they'll probably be with us, hopefully for at least a decade, if not longer. Look at myself, once you save one life, it becomes very addicting. And I started when I was 15 years old, riding on the ambulance, feeling those same frustrations that our founder felt of being in an ambulance and understanding that it just takes too long to get there, and you got to get there in those first 90 seconds. But I got to tell you, one of my favorite calls, if not the scariest, was actually delivering my math teacher's baby. I still have nightmares, and I probably will never like math, but that is the joy that this job brings to us and to each and one of our medics. Even on the hardest of days, we get to have days where we get to bring life to this world and really the next generation. And our family, our orange family is like what we like to call it, is something very special and dear to us. And there's so many things I could talk about, from our rescue operations around the world, from what I did on the Russia-Ukraine border, and bringing in 5,000 Ukrainians to Israel at the peak of that war, and what we did in the Surfside building collapse here in the state of Florida, in Miami, and what Israel was able to do, what our team was able to do in terms of their advanced technology and GPS and drones with thermal. Just amazing things. And there's so much I can go on and on about. But I'm going to have to save it for next time because I know we only have a few minutes to speak. And with that, I would love to invite each and every one of you to really, on your next visit to Israel, come visit us. Come feel for yourself and see for yourself the vibe of our headquarters, of our organization, what it's like to volunteer. You'll see an ultra-Orthodox Jew sitting next to an Israeli Arab. It doesn't matter. All walks of life. Again, just working together to save lives. Everything you probably don't see in the media is happening at our headquarters every single day. And the best part of it, it's free of charge. What today in today's world, especially in healthcare, is free? And we never have ever charged, and the goal is to never have to do that. And obviously, it's just based on the generosity of the philanthropic donations that we get from throughout the world, whether it's in the United States and Jews across the world, non-Jews who really understand what it is to be that shining light upon nations and tikkun olam, and that's exactly what United Hatzalah really, I think, has done an incredible job in highlighting. And yesterday someone asked me, why do you respond to some of these emergencies where it's possible they're not even Jewish, right, in some countries? And I said, we don't do it because they're Jewish, we do it because we're Jewish, right? And we do it, and to be able to respond with pride, wearing the Israeli flag, especially in places where you think there's no Jews, trust me, there's Jews, and there's definitely Israelis. As small as Israel is, I was saying, you're definitely going to find Israelis right now hiking Antarctica and even the North Pole. They get everywhere. So it's our jobs to continue to be strong and resilient, and we're going to get through this. The best day, I always said, Hatikva is the name of our national anthem in Israel, right? Just always remember that. Lots of hope for the future. We're going to stand strong, we're going to be strong, and it all comes from people like your own community coming here. And as my buddy who I just met asked me to say, I can't end without begging you to please vote in the World Zionist Congress coming up. It's important. Stay united, stay strong. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Gavy, for being here and for doing what you do because we're Jewish. It's such a beautiful reminder that we have to live by our values no matter what's going on in our world. And it's pretty incredible what Israel has done in a lot of areas, but especially in healthcare and emergency response. So thank you for doing what you do and for being here and sharing with us.